Yeah, we can close our eyes, and when we close our eyes, we're giving an opportunity. You can greet your mind with kindness and notice, bring mindfulness not only on what you're aware of, like the sounds and the feeling of the gentle breeze and the pleasantness of being around nature, but also how you're aware of it. We want to have this attitude. The attitude is actually the most important. This attitude of acceptance. It's basically a non-reaction. We're allowing a sense of acceptance, love, kindness, awareness to however the moment is presenting itself. And that's really the key through the whole inner journey, is whatever comes up, as soon as we start activating the sense of ego and self, like I don't like this, or having a conversation about things or figuring things out, because we're used to being in that mode, it feels normal, but we're just wasting the opportunity and time for inner peace. So it takes courage, especially in the beginning, to be quiet. And that's where people normally give up meditating, just because that initial change, that shift, it's like shifting gears. You're going away from the constant, rat running on the wheel, to getting off the wheel, stopping, and then noticing, actually this feels good stopping, this is better. And that ability to stop when there's nothing to do. So the five senses, bringing attention to the now, often grounds us, being present. And the reason it grounds us is because it quietens down that inner reactive mode, the inner chatter, basically the expressions of ego, selfing. So just enjoy being aware of your whole body with the curiosity. How's your body feeling now? Are you noticing without words, description? Just noticing, is it heavy? Is it tired? Is it hungry? But not a commentary, just feeling the raw sensations. Like, I used to, as a kid, watch the Olympic figure skating sports, and there's the performance you're watching, and then there's the commentary. So in your body, in this moment, don't pay attention to the commentary. Notice the raw experience of how is your body feeling right now, the whole sense of your body. Is there an openness, a tightness, a lightness, whatever? These are words, but they're all pointing to these raw sensations or experience. And you could notice, take a smooth inhalation and smooth exhalation. Maybe 2 more times. So like a deep inhalation and deep exhalation. And then allow your breathing to be normal. Your body knows how to breathe, just let it. But when you did a deliberate, smooth, deep breathing, it normally tends to relax the body and mind. So you could notice, is there more ease in your mind and body? And very importantly, you can start noticing that sense of ease and relief that comes with nothing to do, nowhere to go, being free from any duties, work, responsibilities, having nothing to do for this period of time. It's important to notice that there's a subtle sense of ease, spaciousness, and relief that comes with that. And it's there for the taking, that opportunity to choose to enjoy the subtlety of peace is possible. So we just need to be careful not to go back into the habits of planning and all that mental blah blah rubbish. Now's the time to choose and decide, I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna be interested in that stuff. I'm going to appreciate relaxation. Taste that fragrance of the mind releasing interest in activities and just the calming of activities. The settling is quite nice, content. When the mind has practice and experience, the meditation teacher I was asking him some questions on how he meditates, and he's getting old now, but he's been meditating for maybe over 50 years. So he just says, he just sits down, does nothing, and blisses out. And by the end of the retreat, that's just what happens with the mind. You just kind of sit down, relax, let go, and just release the mind, just blisses out. But it's good to, in the beginning, step by step, like shifting gears. We need to introduce to the mind and make sure it doesn't automatically go in its habits of thinking, controlling, and mental blah blah. So it's useful to start with a body scan, like a stepping stone. Yeah. If you're just giving it like the shifting gears. So we'll stay attending to the body, but we need to make sure it's easier to attend to something that's happening now, to catch ourselves if we're daydreaming and fantasizing or worrying, just because that's the habit of the mind. So now we can notice the sensations in your toes, and we're using that just to anchor our awareness, so we know what we're aware of. It's easier to catch ourselves from daydreaming. So notice the sensations in your toes. Having a curiosity, how are your toes? Maybe you feel the sensations of your toes against your socks or the wind, the coolness. And being aware of your toes and the ball of the foot. Notice the ball of the foot against your socks. And appreciating the settling and stillness, that quality of stillness feels superior to agitation. I think this whole process of allowing the mind to let go of its grasping to activity is recognizing that what it's holding on to, what it's grasping, is actually unpleasant. It's like a natural response of the mind. Like I heard a nice saying, if you realize, this is kind of crude, but it makes the point. This teacher said, meditation teacher said, if you notice that you have shit on your hands, I know it's gross, you'll automatically wipe it off. So in the same way, if you notice that what you're holding on to, this activity of grasping, holding, thinking, delighting in endless mind watering, if the mind notices, how does it feel like thinking? How does it feel like planning or controlling the mind? If you notice that it's actually tense, it's unpleasant, then the natural response is release, letting go. It's not the ego that lets go, because that's more control and doing and more tension. It's wisdom. It's that faculty of wisdom that notices that holding on to this mental stuff is suffering. It's not good. And then it releases, and then you appreciate a mind that has released. And then through stillness, you just abide, you hang out in that space. And then through stillness, more stuff vanishes. And this whole path of vanishing through stillness happens all by itself, but it takes patience and not activating the sense of self. So we'll continue our body scan, noticing under the arch, in the heel, and being aware around the ankle area. Going up the calf, you can be aware of your calf muscles. And with kindness, muscles relax and the body relaxes all by itself. The reason is that when it doesn't relax, it's just this sense of self being afraid or controlling. It tightens up when it feels threatened. But if you have a sense of safety, like this moment, it's okay. When the sense of self isn't activated or needed to work anything out. Like you have nothing to do, nowhere to go. You don't even have to do the meditation or plan anything. Really, you can put yourself, you can fire yourself. You're not needed. You don't even have to do the meditation. Meditation is just what happens when you get out of the way, when you're fired, when you go in the back of the room, back of the seat and sit down and are just aware with acceptance. That's it. So, oh, what a relief, you're not needed. And the only thing that gets in the way is the habit of the sense of self. What? I'm not needed? Give me something to do. That's why we have a method, either body scan or being aware of the breathing. Some traditions use a mantra, loving kindness. It's just giving the sense of self a little lollipop, like something to do. But in the end, this whole process, it even drops that for the sense of self to vanish. So just allow, knowing that the mindfulness can be on the lookout. Whenever you notice the selfing happening, trying to do things, figure out, you don't need to do anything about it. Just noticing it, I see you, and then it loses its power, vanishes. So being aware of the knees, going up to the thighs, in contact with the seat. Bum in contact with the seat. Going up the spine. Being aware of your shoulders, and just being aware of your shoulders gives it some kindness. And the shoulders relax all by themselves. Being aware of the arms, the elbows, noticing your sensations in the elbows. However they appear to you is fine. You're just cultivating that knowing aspect, which ultimately is also impermanent, but throughout through the meditation, we're allowing that active doing part to subside, allowing knowing to be cultivated, and then ultimately knowing is abandoned too, but it happens gradually. Being aware of the elbows, the arms, and what about the wrists? And could you notice the sensations of your hands in contact to whatever it is, either your lap or wherever they happen to be? Notice how your hands are feeling. And there's a lot of nerve endings, there's a lot of brain space involved in processing sensations of the hands, so it feels quite different. Going through the thumb, the second, third, fourth, fifth finger. And then being aware of the neck area, allowing the neck to release. And the jaw. You can be aware of your face. There's a lot of usually a lot of tension around the eyes, between the forehead. So notice if there isn't any. And then there's nothing for you to do. Just noticing. And with an attitude of acceptance and kindness, it relaxes. This whole process of relaxing, noticing that it's quite delightful. It's subtle but superior. It's more satisfying contentment. My mind notices right away the breathing just because that's the only thing that's moving, not of habit. But you can notice that same relief. You can allow the brain to relax. And you might be aware of your breathing. If there's a lot of thoughts going in your mind, feel free to continue on the body scan. You have to know for you what's working, what's leading to more ease and peace. To get acquainted with what is peace. The more you spend time with your mind, the more you appreciate the richness and depth of peace, and the more peace becomes deeper and rich. Peace changes also. It's not just peace. It's like going into a dark room. It takes time for your eyes to adjust. The same with your mind. The more you spend time with your mind, the more you experience how wonderful, and you don't get bored. You just, everything becomes more content, and that changes. The perception of time is only, you notice it because the mind moves. But when the mind slows down, so does the sense of time. So just spend time with peace, stillness. If the mind is quite settled, you can notice the breathing. But it has to be natural. If not, if the mind moves, just keep doing the body scan, I suggest. But only you know what leads to more peace. So let's say if there's just a few thoughts now and then, let's just say, then you can substitute the few thoughts with maybe a word like breathing in peace, breathing out, relax. So the most important is you're aware that you're breathing in and you're aware you're breathing out. So what you're aware of is knowing you're breathing in, knowing you're breathing out. However you know you're breathing in naturally and breathing out, you just stay mindful of that. That's it. But if the mind has some thoughts, you can substitute the thoughts with a word, like breathing in peace, breathing out, relax. If this is too complicated, you don't have to do that. It's just a method. Like I mentioned, you can just sit and do nothing, and that's it, really. But sometimes, if we don't have practice doing nothing, the mind goes to habits, the default mode network, thinking, planning. That's why we're just helping the mind, nothing doing. So you can be aware of the breathing, just gently looking on. At first it may feel strange just because whatever you watch, the sense of self, the ego wants to control, and it's just that controlling that may feel uncomfortable. But just hang in there, be patient, and then eventually, as long as you practice allowing the self to calm, not get involved, then it becomes more comfortable naturally. So it's not you who makes it comfortable. You're just patient, looking on, don't get involved, and then it becomes more comfortable. You can breathing in peace, breathing out, relax. Just keep on going. Be aware of the breathing or the body scan, whatever. Enjoying the settling, enjoying contentment. remembering that the instructions are to just say stop from going into mind wandering. And we're offering you either awareness of the body scan or breathing as something to be aware of. But notice and be aware of how you're aware. That's the most important. Doesn't matter what you're aware, but how. Make sure it's with that gentleness, that kindness, that acceptance, the opening the door of your heart to this moment, no matter how it's presenting itself. By softening your heart to this moment, allowing it to be, however it is, it's subduing the sense of self. Because you're not needed to solve anything, to work anything out. The you can go on holiday. You just sit under the tree, drinking coconut water, and you're not needed. Just watching the breathing happening. Your body knows how to breathe. Just looking on and choosing to notice the beauty of stillness and contentment. Allow yourself to enjoy peace. Making sure you're doing nothing doing. In the beginning, it's just that it may feel strange because it's shifting gears, it's going a different way to how we normally run and function in the world. You know, the whole purpose of having a nervous system is to get information from the five senses, process it, predict, and then have a behavioral output. And here we're stopping all that, giving up interest in the world, just not going there. And by this disengagement, there is the possibility of inner freedom. And the shift is just allow yourself to enjoy this doing nothing. And that opens up this whole inner dimension of letting go, freedom, and peace, which is incredibly profound and deep and healthy, and so many insights about the mind and emotional health, well-being, all that. It's so worth it. Just through practice, by allowing yourself to enjoy stillness over activity. to enjoy non-doing over managing your mind. Give up managing your mind. Give up managing your meditation. It's not yours. If it's not yours, then you have nothing to do. Accept that, and you'll find peace. The trick is being aware of the breathing. Just noticing breathing in, noticing breathing out. If your mind needs something simple to be aware of, along with being aware of your breathing, if the word peace and relax doesn't work for you, you can try counting. So you're aware of the breathing, but on your inhale you can say 1, and then on the outhale 1. And when you breathe in 2, outhale 2. Your natural breathing, you're aware, knowing you're breathing in, knowing you're breathing out. Your awareness of breathing becomes more subtle, calmer. But you can use the counting just to anchor your attention so you can catch yourself if you're getting lost in thought. So you do it up till 10, and when you get to 10, you go back to 1. Then you can catch yourself if you're like breathing in 100, then you know, oh, you lost the plot. So it's just a stepping stone. Because the most important is you need to be aware that you're aware. Because as soon as you're in La La Land, you're not aware of what's happening now. So this is just another way to cultivate this faculty of awareness and mindfulness. And noticing that simplicity in the mind stilling down, stilling. Is nice. Enjoying, appreciating stillness of the mind. Making sure you don't go back into thinking, but being more diligent, aware, because it takes cultivation. We have to maintain awareness of doing nothing, just aware of the breathing. Because if we lose that faculty of mindfulness, we're just wasting time. The benefits won't have that cultivation of the mind. There is a practice that not going into mind wandering, maintaining awareness with a sense of kindness and acceptance. As the mind calms down, what you're aware of becomes more subtle. It's more delicate. Even awareness of the breathing becomes more subtle. You may not even notice if you're just breathing in or breathing out. It's just breath. So whatever awareness comes up, you stay with that. There could be just beauty and delight or whatever. You just stay with that, mindful of however awareness of breathing happens. Just so that you know that the whole process naturally leads to more openness, subtlety, this brightness, lightness of mind, ease, beauty and content. This whole process happens naturally when the sense of self just be quiet. This not through force, not through, just by relaxing to the max, letting go, allowing letting go to happen. This whole practice ripens in letting go. It's not the self that does the letting go. It's just through noticing, realizing all these thoughts, they're just uncomfortable, waste of time, conditioned, tense, not yours. And the mind loses interest in activities and dwells, kind of abides, hangs out in this silence and ease of mind, and you stay with that. There's also another more heart-based approach. By deliberately noticing and developing an intention of well-wishing, it's called more like a kindness meditation, because it tends to undermine the sense of self. It kind of hacks into the body's feeling safe, at peace, loved. And this allows the mind to feel even more settled. During my retreat, every morning I'd start with these heart-based meditations. And I notice that it's much more easier. The mind is much more settled and content and peaceful. Like the mind doesn't move out as much. And this is also what the Buddha, who he's a historical person who there's a lot of records of in meditation practice. And he said, if you cultivate these kindness, friendliness, then the mind very easily gets into these peaceful states. In different traditions they call it samadhi, like very, very unification of mind, these profound stillnesses. But you can notice within yourself if it's true, if you feel at ease, friendly. This friendliness doesn't need the ego to protect itself. So the sense of self isn't activated. This friendliness makes you feel at peace, that you have nothing to do. Everything's okay. Friendliness towards yourself. At this moment, you don't have to fix yourself, be anything. You can just allow things to be. So by cultivating this friendliness in your heart area and spreading it out in all directions, up, down, front, right, all around like a sunshine, from that whole warmth of your heart area radiating out, having an intention that all beings around, including yourself, maybe be happy, well. They're all subverbal, so less activity, just this intention of genuine friendliness. Maybe free from suffering and happy. May they find peace of mind. And the wishing well is there. It's like you just open the curtains and you allow it to radiate out in all directions. And notice how that feels in your mind. How does it make you feel in your body? Like at rest. Coming close to the end of the sit, notice how do you feel now compared to when you first sat down, when you first came. Just noticing if you just feel more at ease, not judging yourself or saying, oh, I could be. Just noticing and appreciating any sense of more ease, well-being. And that's a good use of time, little by little. Just allowing yourself to feel more at ease is an investment for your mental health, for your physical health, right? Your body heals when it's not stressed out. So you're allowing the natural healing to take place in your body. Research shows that these meditations also decelerate aging, the motivation. So how you cultivate your mind has a physical effect on your body and also supporting this inner well-being. And you can go to your family with a more peaceful state, like more, sometimes you like to be around certain people because they don't have those spikes about them. So you're removing your spikes so that you can even be with yourself, accepting of yourself, non-judging. And it feels so at ease. It's important at the end of the sit to appreciate the fruits, the ripening of ease, inner freedom, peace. Just linger for a few moments, delighting in this ease. Whenever you're ready, you can open